I killed one of our clay tables last month, rebuilt the whole thing with Claude Code in a single afternoon. Plugged it into NA10, faster, cheaper, way more flexible. Until it wasn't. Right now, everyone is feeling the FOMO. Claude Code is everywhere. Founders are ripping out their SaaS tools and rebuilding with AI. But the teams moving fastest aren't choosing one tool. They're using both, and they know exactly when to use which. By the end of this video, you'll have the exact framework to decide which tool to use for every workflow in your GTM stack. Two tools are dominating GTM right now, and you probably have heard of both. Clay is the standard. It's structured, reliable, built for teams, and they have an amazing marketing. Claude Code is the new player in GTM, and it's completely different. It's an AI coding agent. You describe what you want in plain English, and it builds it. No UI, no credits, no feature requests. Advanced engineers and founders are quietly rebuilding entire parts of their GTM stack with Claude Code. They solve different problems, and almost nobody has figured out which one to use when. I run a GTM consultancy called TC9. We build revenue engines for B2B companies, and I'm in both of these tools every day, building real systems that generate real revenue. So let me break down exactly what I've learned. The first thing you notice with Claude Code is speed. Let me tell you a real story. At TC9, we had a clay table handling our lead qualification, and it worked, but the setup took time. Changing the scoring logic meant touching multiple columns, the credits added up. It did the job, but every iteration felt quite heavy. So I opened Claude Code and described exactly what I wanted. The same qualification logic built as an automation I could plug into NA10. And one afternoon, that's all it took. Claude Code built the whole thing, the scoring logic, the data enrichment, the output format. I just plugged it and connected to our system, and it was running. The same workflow that took me days in Clay took me a few hours with Claude Code. And same for maintenance. Modifying it is just talking to Claude Code, asking for some changes, and it's done. That's the first win, speed. If you can describe it, it exists 10 minutes later. The second win is flexibility. Clay gives you a menu, a great menu, but it's still a menu. Claude Code gives you a blank page. If you need to combine 4 APIs that are not natively supported by Clay, with Claude Code, done. If you need to process data in a weird way that isn't expected, it's still possible. I've been using Claude Code to build automation at TC9 as well. Task automation, internal workflow, that's the power of a blank page. It fits your specific and custom processes, and you're not limited by any product design. So when you're testing a new GTM approach or workflow, this flexibility is everything. You're not waiting for anything or struggling with any interface. You're just getting what you need fast. And the cost is also quite a big topic. By the time I'm recording this video, you can start using Claude Code with the $20 subscription that you probably will upgrade quite fast to the 100 or 200 subscription, but the point is that you can build fast and cheap. Comparing to Clay's pricing, that's already a bigger investment for small teams or for testing. Let me start with where Claude Code wins, because it's quite impressive, but there is a massive but, and that's where people can be burned. Day one with Claude Code, you build an amazing automation in 20 minutes, you feel like a genius, and your team is impressed. Day 30, the automation breaks at 2 AM and nobody knows what happened, not even you. This is the classic pattern. You build a custom workflow automation with Claude Code, it pulls data from sources, it pushes the output somewhere, it works, and you move to the next thing. But then something changes. An API update, a data source changes their format, a token expires. There is no warning feature, your workflow just breaks silently. And that can be very costly. It can be broken in the background for days without you noticing, because you don't have any notification or dashboard to warn you. Or worse, you're using the data, but the data is corrupted, and you and your team are making wrong decisions based on them. This is the fundamental problem with custom code, and I've experienced this myself in my previous roles in IT consulting firms. Building is the easy part, and now with Claude Code, it has never been that easy. But operating, running, maintaining what you've built, that's a completely different job. If you don't anticipate and build those warning features, then you are the infrastructure, and that makes you and your terminal the bottleneck of the system. And there is actually another cost that is not mentioned that many times, the opportunity cost. While you're rebuilding your clay tables in Claude Code, your pipeline isn't growing. Your closing rate aren't improving. You're spending hours recreating something that's already working, instead of doing what actually will push you to the next step. And don't get me wrong, I'm the first one to be excited of building stuff with Claude Code, but we need to control ourselves and make the best decisions, considering all the costs, including the time that we are spending in there. And that's exactly where Clay deserves every dollar. Clay is built to support your workflows, so you can stop thinking about them and trust that they will be working. And actually, that's where an interface is important. You can go through the rows and the columns and identify where it breaks. See the error when an API call didn't work. Identify the step where AI generated weird stuff, the sandbox, testing on just a few rows, etc. When a workflow runs 10 times a day across thousands of rows, you need this type of visibility. With Claude Code, you don't have that, except if you rebuild an interface, of course, but it's losing its advantage of being fast and flexible if you have to restructure everything that is already available in a tool. Clay also solves team problems. You can share those tables in a workspace. I can share a Clay table with a new hire in my team and explain it to this person. I can present a Clay table that I've built to a client and break it down for them so they understand what's going on in their system. I can track everything in this interface and then share if I need it. Try doing this with 40 Python files made with Claude Code. Of course, you can always build on top of it with Claude Code, but you get the point. And there is also the compliance subject. I'll keep this one brief because it's not the most exciting part of business, but it's crucial when a client asks where the data comes from and how it's processed. Clay is SOC 2 certified, GDPR compliant, etc. With Claude Code and custom scripts, you would have to go through those steps yourself, which is very heavy. So we've got two tools. One is fast and flexible, the other is stable and scalable. And the answer is not to pick one, but use both. Claude Code is your 0 to 1 tool. Clay is your 1 to 100 tool. Let me explain what it means in practice. 0 to 1 is experimentation. You have a new idea, you want to test a new ICP, a new channel, a new approach. You want to see if a signal correlates with more closed wins, whatever your idea might be. Claude Code lets you try this very fast, very cheap, so you can actually see the result, not just imagine it. If it doesn't work, you kill everything and move to the next idea you might have. 1 to 100 means operations. If an idea worked and it needs to run 50 times a day, or you need your team to understand it or your clients to understand it, and you need all the features that I mentioned before, Clay is probably your answer. So now you've got it. Claude Code is an amazing tool and very powerful, but it's not for everything. If you want to test new ideas, perfect. Creating small internal workflows, go for it. Or just have fun and build your own little tools and apps that might help you in your daily life. Enjoy. I'm doing this myself and it's very funny. But then if you want something that is stable and solid, maybe a more traditional tool like Clay might be the right answer for all the reasons that we mentioned: maintenance, security, being able to share the work, etc. The mistake I see with those trends and FOMO is teams that are going all in with one tool. The old Claude Code teams are going to be super fast, but when they'll have to scale or prove that the data is safe, they might be in trouble. And the old Clay teams might be more stable and scalable, but they will be slower by definition if they don't use a tool such as Claude Code. So the teams that are winning are those using both for the right use cases when it matters. So let me bring this back to the big picture. We are living in a moment where coding your own custom software has become so easy. For me, the real question that any business might ask themselves is, should we build this or buy this? The better those AI coding agents, the more relevant this question will be. But easy to build doesn't mean easy to maintain and operate. And this also has to be considered when answering the question, buy or build. And in my opinion, the smartest teams will know how to answer this question, and also for every workflow or task they try to achieve. So fight the exciting moment, and I'm guilty of this myself, of building everything and make the best decision based on how mature is the workflow while considering all the hidden costs. On this channel, I'm going deep in how AI is reshaping GTM for B2B businesses. So if you're building revenue system, you will want to stay around. Drop a comment if you're already using Claude Code in your GTM stack and what type of results you've had with it, and if it broke at some point, I will reply to every comment. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one.